Xin chào các bạn. It's been 5 days since I moved to Vietnam. They are doing construction outside, so you have to excuse me if it's a bit too loud. A lot of people ask me why I moved to Vietnam. To put it simply, it is for two reasons: heritage and growth. The first reason: I want to connect to my heritage. I want to learn Vietnamese. I want to eat Vietnamese food, and I want to understand the culture that I come from. I was born in San Jose, the city with the highest population of Vietnamese outside of Vietnam. I grew up in a very insular Vietnamese community. However, I did not realize that I was Asian until I was in 6th grade. My online friends one day decided to do a video call. It was the first time we've ever seen each other's faces, and one of them said, "Wow, your voice doesn't match your face." Everyone else on the call was white. I realized that my life did not look like the lives portrayed on the Disney Channel, and I resented my family for not acting like the families you would see in movies. Because of this, I did not want to learn Vietnamese and refused to pay attention in class or do homework for Vietnamese school. Despite growing up in a city that is predominantly Asian American, I was ashamed to be Asian, and in my best efforts, I wanted to be white. I spent most of my high school and college years trying my best to be an American as possible, eventually moving to San Francisco to live out my early 2000s American indie movie dreams. Thrifting, rock concerts, vinyl records, all signaling to me the life of an American. In very recent years, I felt isolation and loneliness, and I think that comes from Western culture. In Vietnamese culture, it is very normal for people to live in multi-generational households. That was how I lived for the first half of my life. Everyone was either in the same house or within walking distance from each other. Americans are very individualistic. Each family has their own house and their own rooms, and they strive to rise up as individuals. But Vietnamese are driven by community, where everyone plays a part in a bigger whole. And I miss that. I didn't think I would, but I did. I missed the parties that my family hosted and hanging out with my cousins. I missed singing karaoke, and I missed my aunt and uncle's cooking. I visited Vietnam mid-2023. Like Cinderella slipping into the glass slipper, I too felt the perfect fit. I cannot say that I fully understand all that is about Vietnamese culture, because I rejected it for so long, and I grew up in a totally different place. But whatever piece of Vietnam that my parents brought with them when they became refugees in America has somehow formed the same shape inside of me, and that piece inside me fell perfectly into place. Within these 5 days of being in Vietnam, I felt very little isolation and loneliness. I walk outside, and I am greeted with a smile by the old women who live within the small and staggered alleyways. I ask them for places to eat, breakfast or dinner, and they tell me where to go. Regardless of how much I fought to become more American, being here has made me realize how much more Vietnamese I am. The reason number 2. I want to make video games and grow my career. Last year, I made a game called Last Seen Online. It was only meant to be a small, quick side project while I was unemployed, but the success took me by surprise. I've always been afraid to pursue game development. The market is very saturated, but I now have the confidence and means to at least attempt to be a game developer. I developed my game by visiting coffee shops almost every day. There is no way I could have made my game if I stayed at home. Being surrounded by other people who were working, reading, and studying motivated me to stay focused. This took a giant toll on my savings because I was living in San Francisco, where everything was extremely expensive. I became inspired by the story of Ivan Zhao and Simon Last, who temporarily moved to Japan to save money on developing Notion. I acknowledge that by living in Vietnam, I am taking advantage of an economic disparity where the US dollar goes further than the Vietnamese dong. I am not ignorant of my place here. I understand that I am participating in Saigon's gentrification, but I will try my best to limit my own damage. I especially want to tell the story that is happening here, so that even when the houses and alleyways are demolished to broaden the streets, the history is not erased. I think what made Last Seen Online's story great is that it wasn't a story that was written by me. It was a story that was written by the universe. I only transcribed it. It is parts of my life and my sister's life, and of many of the Asian American teenagers who grew up around me in the Bay Area suburbs. It displayed my own personal wants and my life lessons. It was who I was in high school and who I was in college. Now, the story for my next game is being written in real time here by the universe. I am excited to try new foods. I'm excited to learn how to speak Vietnamese. I'm excited to nhau with my cousins. I'm excited to drink a lot of cafe soda. I am excited to gossip with the aunties. I am excited to make video games. Every day is a new passage being written, and I am excited to experience all of it. No spoilers, please.